someday, or I want to be like a pop star. I never really thought about that.
Right.
Honestly.
Is it a certain sort of time period in your life where you started taking more of an initiative to create whether it was creating music or writing music or dancing or playing an instrument? Is it sort of a time period where it stopped being something that you maybe weren't necessarily seeing yourself doing, and it became something that, okay, now not only do I see myself doing this, but this is part of my identity. Like, I feel like I'm an artist now.
Yeah. Really? I think when I turned 14, 15, I've always been heavily into music. And I feel like me writing raps or writing little songs and doing poetry, I feel like that I kind of took it a little bit more serious as I, got older, like being 15 and 16 years old. I feel like I wrote my first song when I was probably, I don't know, probably like 12 years old, something like that. So, being a 12-year-old and making, like, writing stuff, you don't think nothing of it. And then, once you like 15 and you're into music and you're writing stuff, you're just kind of like, maybe this is, and people have always known me to be a singer and be a dancer and stuff like that. So I just always kind of felt like, maybe this is something that I could take serious. And then I think by the time I was like 15, 16, that started to really become a part of my identity, because people were seeing it's like, well, he is a cool dancer, like he can sing. It's like, it kind of makes sense for him to take that pathway, especially with like how I look and how I dress. Is kind of just like, oh, he's got an image for it, So I feel like after so long of doing music oriented stuff, it's like, why not just try it? So yeah, that's what it was.
When was the first time you got into a recording studio?
Bro, the first session that I ever did, I did it with Shep, Darius Hughes. And Jaleel, shout out Savage Jeter. He the one who booked my first studio session. He had me in the studio. I had already been writing stuff, but I hadn't recorded nothing. I would go on YouTube, listen to beats, write to beats, but I had never recorded nothing. So he the one who booked me my first studio session. I'll never forget that.
Ever. What was that experience like? Or how much of it do you recall? Do you remember it? Is it sort of like
it's like I remember it. I remember being in the studio and just trying different things, because this is the first time I'm hearing my voice on a microphone. So it's like you don't really know how to navigate, but it's like I know how I want this melody to go. I know how I somewhat want it to sound. So being in the studio at that time, it was just nerve-wracking, but it was also interesting. And then hearing myself on the mic and hearing the different things, because he was trying like different auto tunes, different like presets, trying to see like what would make my voice sound the best. And I remember just listening to the different stuff that he was doing, like, damn, this is cool. Damn, this is cool. So I thought it was cool, but I also was really nervous too.
I think one of the things that as I've been having different conversations with different artists in the city, there's these different transitions you sort of have on your musical journey. You know, there's this this earlier part where you're just an experiencer of music, and you're experiencing somebody creating music, and you listening to music, and you sort of get tied to it, and you start to, maybe you enjoy music a little bit more than other people around you, and you start being a little bit more infatuated with it than other people around you are, and then you have this, idea in your mind about writing something, and then you take this transition where you're not just an experiencer anymore, but you become a creator, and you have the journey of a writing artist. And for different people, they have that journey of a writing artist for different periods of time. For some people, it's 2 years before they ever record. Some people, it's 5 years. Some people, it's 10 years, depending on how early you start writing. But then there's the next step of the journey, which is when you become a recording artist and you get into the studio the first time and you're recording for the first time. And like you said, you hearing your voice for the first time, and you start to a lot of times, the same way when you hear a beat, sometimes when you end up writing the song that you write, not necessarily what you thought it was going to be when it was first in your head. And that's this like this sort of thing that you got to get used to of how to get the words that you got in your head to come out onto the paper the right way.
You know,
yeah, and then you have that same sort of experience once you go to record where you have the words on the paper and you know what it's like to rap the words out or to sing the words out on the paper, you know, to the beat. But then when you hear your voice being recorded and your voice don't necessarily sound the way that you thought your voice sounded, you know, just hearing it to your ear, and then you have that process of getting accustomed and getting used to your voice, you know, and I think that those are all really important journeys and different important transition processes for different artists to go through. And I think that eventually, for me, I think it was really probably about a year to 2 years of recording music regularly from the time I was probably the first time I was in a real studio with my my homie, where he had a good mic and a computer, and he got the setups and the amplifiers, and he got the plugins, was probably around when I was like 16, you know. And then from 16 to 18, I really got comfortable with hearing my own voice, you know, because that's the thing that's nobody can really tell you about either, is that you can go in there and you can record it, and it still take you time to get comfortable listening to your own voice, then take you time to get comfortable letting other people, you know, listen to your voice.
You don't know your voice, and you don't.
I need hard liquor, then I need your soft touch. You give me hard truths, that should help me boss up. Gotta read my body language, these days I don't talk much. Got a hold on me, I can't shake from a dogma. You done paid the anything you want, girl, you can have that. You ain't tripping by these bitches, they can bad.